pressures today and cash flow pressures today are omniscient. One can see that across the world, from US to India to Bangladesh to Philippines. Do you think this will lead to more work moving to India? And would that translate in large-scale hiring by BPOs in India? Uh, Question goes to Kalpak.
Prashant, I mean, that's a little bit longer answer. If you go back, and there was a famous saying that, when things are not good, companies outsource. But when things are good, also they outsource because they want to leverage. I think I'll quote some of the studies from NASSCOM. If you look at, we are in BPM 4.0 stage. BPM 1 was purely cost arbitrage, labor arbitrage. That's where the outsourcing happened to the lower cost countries. There was only one expectation, that we save money. When BPM 2.0 came in, I mean, after another 10 years, is when the focus was on quality and efficiency. The cost leverage is done. Now probably we need to drive how can we get better quality, better efficiency of the product that's emerging out of it. Another 10 years or probably 7-8 years, when we call it BPM 3.0, the technology infusion started. That the cost leverage was no longer a leverage because there were multiple players that started playing in the BPO sector. India was probably the niche player 20 years ago. Today there are multiple countries who are competing equally with India, and therefore for India BPO industry to survive, and not only survive but grow, we had to do something different. And that's what I'm saying. That's where coming at BPO 4.0, and that's a time of digital. That's a time of data. That's a time of AI-enabled work. That's a time of RPA. That's a time of whole design thinking based customer service. And that job is coming to India. So to answer to your point, will we hire more? Generally saying yes, because if you look at BPO industry runs in between somewhere around 6% attrition. You will be backfilling that attrition in any given point in time. That means roughly around 70% of the workforce will get replaced over the year. That means there is an opportunity to be hired. But there is this new segment coming up where companies are trying to infuse a good amount of technology in driving a differential customer experience, because customer demand is changing, customers' needs are changing, customers' expectations are changing. And therefore, I think we are at the cusp. And you would have seen that there is a huge amount of focus that Government of India has done in skilling people. NASSCOM has put a lot of effort. Industries and organizations are doing tremendous amount of work to keep their people future ready. And I think that's a big scope. So I would not say that the hiring is going to go down. Hiring will continue. Probably a portion of that will change its face. It may not be exactly the same kind of hiring that we were doing earlier. We might do a multitask workforce. We might do hiring of people with little more niche areas and niche skills that they have. So yes, I mean, if people have apprehension that, with all this situation, will hiring go down? Momentary, yes, because of organizations are still struggling to get to the pre-COVID stage. But once they are there, I think things will work out well for all of
us. That's very nice news for students. But do you think there'll be more hiring of engineers and MBAs and BPOs?
BPO hires for the job we want people to do.
Right.
So the question that I would have is, if my job or skill require a graduate, why would I hire a postgraduate? I mean, simple answer.
Absolutely.
So to say, MBA or graduate is a very, very macro level qualification. What hiring will happen is a very job specific hiring. When you infuse RPA in your contact center services and providing that to client, you would want people who are equipped with that technological knowledge to be there to support you. You would want your agents to be able to do multitasking. I mean, there is this concept of omni-channel support. And therefore, I'm saying that there will be also concept of a multitasking agent or a super agent that is coming in place. An agent who is required to do a voice job. At the same time, an agent is also chat up with the customer, or probably provide a digital support on the same platform. So skill would slightly move toward becoming more complex than just being a vanilla contact center skill that we used to hire probably 5 years ago.
That's so nice to hear that it's not just that the quantity of work in India will increase, but also the quality of work in India will increase, which has been a question for a long time. But thanks to COVID, perhaps that's getting accelerated. It was always going up. The skill levels are always going up, but that's getting accelerated.
Yeah, I mean, just to give comfort to people that unless they have already seen the report, NASSCOM published a report just a couple of days ago, where they have projected a growth of 2.3% for BPM industry in India, which is like net growth of approximately 38 billion worth of business. That's a humongous growth. I mean, that talks to you about the amount of jobs that it will enable.
Now that's really nice to know. Very heartening.